First of all, I'm just really squidging the clay onto the armature. The armature is a metal structure that lies within any clay sculpture, just to give it something to cling onto. So once I've got a basic head structure blocked in, I'm drawing on the centre line with a wooden drawing tool. And this is where I'm going to build my profile. So I'm looking at it from the side, and I'm looking at my photo of Billie Eilish from the side, and I'm just sketching out where I think her profile will be, right along that central line that I've drawn on. Once I have the profile sketched in, then I'm going to start trying to make a basic skull structure. So I start off by carving in where the eye sockets are, and then I draw on the basic shapes of the jawline, the zygomatic arch around the eye sockets, and the temporal ridge. And once I've got these shapes drawn on, then I know where to add clay onto the high points of the basic skull structure. So the widest point of the jaw isn't right at the back, it's actually a little bit in from the back. So I'm building that up. It's really important to have a strong structure when you're sculpting a likeness. Here I'm sculpting on the first ear, so I've looked at it from the side and drawn it on, and then I've built it up just in the same way, building up the high points. I'm really studying the shape of Billie Eilish's actual ears and trying to make them as accurate to her ear shape as possible. And then once I've got that width feeling right of the overall shape of her ears from the front, then I can build out other areas to match that widest apart point of her whole head. So here I'm building out the neck a bit, and I'm smearing on some clay onto those muscles coming down from behind her ears down to the pit of her neck. Now I've marked on where the eyes are going to go, and I'm actually blobbing on eyeballs. So I'm imagining the actual eyeballs sat within her eye sockets. Once I feel like they're sitting the right depth within her head, I've drawn on the shape of her actual eye aperture. And then I get some little flattened clay sausages and squash them on to make her upper and lower lids. You can see the sun really hitting my arm there. It must have been summer when I was sculpting this one. It's a bit of a problem in my studio in the summer. I get shafts of light that come in and hit the clay, so I'm constantly moving my sculpture around to avoid it. Here you can see I'm just filling in the areas above and below the eyes with a wooden tool. So I'm just smearing the clay on and literally filling it in from the eye to the eye socket. Now the shape of the face is coming along, and sometimes I just use a thumb to really control where the clay is being smeared. sometimes it's easier to use a thumb or a finger than it is to use a tool. I'm just drawing on the eyebrow shape here and the shape of her irises within her eyes. It can be useful to use a wooden drawing tool to draw on any shapes that you see. It helps you to see if things are slotting together correctly. I've drawn on her hairline, and you can see I've added some cling film within the shape of her hairline because I will be removing the hair eventually. When I sculpt these celebrities, they are actually for wax museums, so the finished head will be completely bald once it's been cast in wax, so that the hair technicians can insert hairs individually into the wax head. I actually insert them 1 or 2 at a time. It's a very painstaking job. They use a needle with the end sort of cut off, that sort of a tool, and they push them into the wax. It's an amazing and very skilled job because the hair has to be moving in the right direction for it to sit properly on the head. Here I'm carving out the iris because this can often help me to feel like the eyes are alive. I think with this one I did actually eventually fill them back in again and draw them on because Billie Eilish has very pale eyes, so when you hollow them out like this, it makes them read like she's got dark eyes. And sometimes it can help with the lightness to actually change them to be filled in with just the shapes drawn on, and then they read more like pale coloured eyes. So I've worked on it a bit more here and lost where the eyebrows are, so I'm just drawing them back in. She's actually got one raised eyebrow in this pose because that's what the client wanted the expression to be. And what I often do as well with these waxworks is, well, you can see here I've actually put some cling film under those eyebrows and then put clay on top to be the hair of the eyebrow, and that will also eventually be peeled off so that real eyebrows can be inserted into the wax head. And now with this one I'm just putting the sketched in hair on. As I say, this hair is just to help to see the likeness, and then it will be removed at the end so that the finished head can be cast without hair. And here she is finished. I'm just using a natural sponge now to just very lightly sponge off the surface. It just gives it a skin-like texture.